Welcome to the Herd's official YouTube channel. Make sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to check out the Colin Cowherd podcast, all of our NFL instant reactions, and more football content.
I didn't have the best week. I got some bad breaks. Undeterred, here's our Blazing Five.
That's a hot one. Let's blaze it up. Fire it up. It's Colin's Blazing Five. Vikings versus Steelers.
Favorite bet on the board, I'm going to take Minnesota minus 2.5. I get the better offensive staff, better defense. I think right now, I don't know why I would like Pittsburgh. Minnesota's won 11 of its last 13 regular season games, and they've been very good on the road or away from home. I get Carson Wentz, Jordan Addison's back, Jordan Mason more than capable, Justin Jefferson. I think I get a better offensive line, so I like the offense, and the defense ranks top 5 in the league. The Steelers' offense is a mess. They can't run the ball. They can't protect Aaron Rodgers. This coaching staff can't figure out a run game. I don't know why this line is only minus 2.5. The Steelers under Tomlin have been a good underdog team. They'll play like their hair's on fire, but I think Minnesota 27-20 covers here. Better staff, better offense, better defense. Better road team. I'm going to take Minnesota.
Panthers at Patriots.
I'm taking the over 43.5. I don't get the number. Listen, the Patriots outplayed the Steelers. They just kept coughing it up. Drake May in the last 2 weeks is completing 74% of his throws. The problem for them is they don't have a pass rush. They're allowing the most big plays. So for New England to win, they got to win. They got to score some points, and I think they will because Carolina's defense, they don't get to the quarterback either. I mean, they have 1 sack through their first 3 games. So you're going to get a very comfortable Drake May, who's going to have time at home to throw. The weather's not an issue. The bad weather's out of town. You have 2 defenses that don't get after the quarterback and 2 quarterbacks when they're not pressured who can complete a lot of passes and move the chains. I think we get points in this game. 26-23, New England wins. Take the over. Bryce Young last week completed 67% of his throws. If he's got time, he does that.
Colts and Rams.
I think this is a good spot for the Rams. Sean McVay off a disappointing close loss. They come back home. They have the second highest grade by PFF of any team in the league. Rams are a really good team that dominated Philly in Philly for a half. Puka and Devontae Adams have been outstanding, the best receiving tandem in the league, and the defense leads the NFL in sacks. So Daniel Jones, and he has a good old line, is going to face real pressure. The offense last week for the Colts came back down to earth a little. They were 2 for 8 on third down. They weren't very good. And their defense has major holes on the back end. This is not a great Colts defense on the back end. Puka, Kyron Williams, Matt Stafford, McVay at home. I think they look much more comfortable. They beat the Colts 34-24. 24. This is a good spot for the Rams at home against an average beaten-up secondary. Take the Rams.
Bears at Raiders.
I like the Raiders. They're a slight favorite. I like the Raiders. Geno Smith, do you know this? Leads the NFL in big pass plays. Second in passing yards, only behind Justin Herbert. When Geno has time to throw, often this year he hasn't, he can sling it. And I think it's a great opportunity to get the running game going. The bigger story here is we're concentrating on Caleb Williams and Ben Johnson. But the Bears defense has not been good, and they're a terrible road team. 1-8 on the road last 9 games. Caleb's been bad on the road. The Bears have been a bad road team, and their defense is allowing 6.7 yards a play. We're not talking about the fact that the Bears defense is struggling. Opposing quarterbacks are completing 75% of their throws against the Chicago Bears. Bad road team. The Raiders come back home trying to establish some offensive dominance up front against the team I think they'll run the ball on. I do. I think Genti has a breakout game. I'm going to take the Raiders to win it 27-23.
Bengals and Broncos.
Okay, Broncos are coming off 2 rough road losses. They lost both games when time expired. Denver's got the much better defense. Denver's got the better head coach. Denver's got tremendous personnel up front defensively. I mean, they have the second best red zone defense. So even when you get down into the red zone, it is hard to get touchdowns out of Denver. They lead the NFL in sacks. They also get their tight end, Evan Ingram, back. This is big. This is big because Bo Nix hasn't been great throwing the ball deep this year. They've missed on big plays. So Evan Ingram is in that 12 to 14 yard space. Big for Denver's offense. The Bengals, worst rushing attack in the league, putting more pressure on an average quarterback, Jake Browning. They don't do a lot well offensively. You see the screen. I think Denver is an undervalued team with a much better roster against a shaky O-line, an excellent pass rush. I think Denver controls the game. Bo Nix, by the way, not great in September last year, finally clicks 30-20. They cover the spread, take the Denver Broncos. So once again, looking at our picks, I like favorites this weekend. Vikings, good road team. I think they have the better staff, better weapons, better run game, and playing better defensively. Minnesota to cover. Panthers, Patriots, I think score points. I'm surprised that the over-under is only 43.5. The weather's cleared. I think it's a great spot for the Rams to cover. I don't like the Bears on the road. I can't go crazy. Bears are probably the worst road team in the league, and I'm going to take Denver. So I will say this. I think the one team in the league that's actually really, really good that hasn't looked like it is the Denver Broncos. 39 years coaching pro and college football. 6 seasons as the Bears head coach. How did that go here in Chicago? You're still beloved. How'd it go?
Well, you know what? When you're winning, there's not a city better. I mean, they're good.
You got the Dolphins to the playoffs.
Yeah, I got the Bears to the playoffs. And, no, it's a great sports town. You know, it's a big Pittsburgh, so I can relate to it good, you know. Yeah. I mean, I think that's why they like me. I smoke cigars, I drink wine, and I got a mustache, you know. It's Chicago. It's Pittsburgh. Here we go.
So I said this weekend, they have not been a good road organization. They don't play well on the road. Caleb struggled. There is something that you feel, you can tell the city is so, I mean, I was on the train yesterday and I heard people talking about it. And there was a couple guys talking about the game. They're like, I don't trust them on the road. I don't trust them against the Raiders. And the Raiders are not a great team. Do you have a sense? I don't love their defense right now. I think their offense, they've gotten some stuff figured out. I just don't trust them on the road. Do you?
I trust them on the road versus the Raiders. I know you don't.
I don't.
But a couple of things happened last week. Number one, there were against Detroit, there were guys open. And Caleb threw the ball 10 yards over their head out of bounds, DJ Moore. In this game, when there were guys open for big plays, he made the plays. DJ Moore's touchdown at the end, pressure in his face down in the red zone, and he did not try to get out. He didn't look at the rush, which some quarterbacks will do, and he did not try to escape, which he loves to do. He stayed in the pocket and hit DJ Moore for a touchdown. That's improvement. And then the third thing, which I love about Ben Johnson, which we saw at Detroit, Coach, you know me, I ran Ricky Williams, I think, 13 times in a row, one game, you know. So I will run the ball. He had a 9.5 play drive, 19 plays, and 11 of them were runs. Yeah. So those three things to me said, Ben Johnson, if you let him run the ball on you, he will. And he had to. I mean, the defense, as you mentioned, they're just so hurt in the secondary. Having been at practices, watching Dennis Allen, what we saw at the end of that game where the guys were 6-7 guys at the line of scrimmage and then they're bailing out and he rushed 4, rushed 3.
I thought Dennis Allen liked the blitz.
He does. But the secondary, Jalen Johnson's out. Their 2 best defensive backs are out. Jalen Johnson, Kyler Gordon, and then their top sub, who might have been a starter, Terrell, I think it's the kid from Minnesota, second-year player. He got hurt, blew his knee out. He's out for the year. So they are banged up in the secondary. You blitz, you're going to play man, you play man, and guys can't cover, you give up touchdowns.
So I want to go and talk about Sam Darnold because I was always a huge fan, but I didn't think he came into the league, he was 21 years old, and I don't think he was, on multiple levels, he was not ready to carry a bad franchise. And then he goes to Carolina, that's a worse franchise. But he won in high school, he won at USC, he won at Minnesota, he won at Seattle. He is tied for the most game-winning drives with Mahomes. I always looked at him, and I was just like, He's big. He's an athlete. He's got a big arm and like no ego. You get the alpha without the ego. Are you surprised he's had this 2-year run?
No, I think Kevin O'Connell did wonders for him at Minnesota. But I'll go back, way back when he was at USC. I was doing the college football then, and we were doing a game in the Coliseum. I think they played Texas or somebody. And Matt Leinart, SC guy, was talking to him after the game. I'm standing there, we were all talking. And then Matt, I know, had a couple of meetings with him, and Matt was kind of encouraging, take another year. And then he went out and had the big game against Penn State in the Rose Bowl. And
he got hot.
And he got hot, exactly. And I always looked at draft picks. There's an old philosophy that says talent sets the floor, character sets the ceiling.
And he was 21. And New York's a big, loud city. And he was in a small oceanside California. He didn't grow up in L.A. He grew up in a little beach surfer town down in Southern California.
Yes. You didn't listen to what I said, okay? Talent sets the floor, character sets the ceiling. So his character is outstanding. I mean, you listened to him in the postgame last night talking on TV. I mean, he's talking about the team and the defense, nothing about him. The next win, I think the guy is probably good in the locker room. Yeah. I bet you the guys will enjoy playing with him and have him as a teammate. And he's one of those guys, you want him on your team, he's going to make you better. And the Minnesota thing just gave him a shot of confidence that obviously we saw yesterday.
I always thought, my comp when he came out was, I said, it's Andrew Luck. He's not that good. But Andrew could be a little reckless. And I think Sam is one of those guys, Coach, you have to give him a certain structure.
Yep.
Because he can ad-lib pretty well. And you probably had quarterbacks like that. I think with Sam, we're going to throw 28 times. We're going to run the ball. Seattle likes to run the ball.
Yes.
And I think it works with him.
And play defense. And he talked about that. That's the great thing. When the quarterback comes out and says, boy, our defense really played good, and you talked about running the ball, you're right. I mean, he fits into that mold. It's not going to be a drop back, Joe Burrow and throw it 50 times.
Not what he is.
That's not what he is. They know what he is, and they really take advantage of it.
You know, I said I've loved Kyler Murray for years. I've been a huge fan. But there is something that sometimes he feels a little detached. His body language, and there are certain guys like Baker Mayfield where I honestly think Baker Mayfield is buying beers at halftime. He looks at me, he is just like, or Lamar Jackson feels like the soul of the Ravens. I get Mahomes yelling at his teammates or Peyton Manning.
Yep.
Sometimes with him, I feel like he's a little detached. I mean,
yeah.
He's bad in one-score games. He has a terrible record coming from behind. And I think late in close games, people don't look for talent. They look for guidance. They look for leadership.
Yeah.
If you ran them, would you?
I feel that. I mean, I can't get the contract dispute. So many hours in the office. I mean, that's tough for me to get out of my mind when I see some things, throw interceptions or something. You wonder just, were you prepared enough? I'm sure he is. I always thought that he would be more of a Lamar threat with his legs and running the ball.
He doesn't like running much anymore.
That's not happening anymore. And his supporting cast, I'm going to give him a little bit of help here now. God bless him. I'm a Pitt guy, James Conner, Pitt guy. When he went through his cancer battle, they weren't sure he was going to come back and play at Pitt. And how many years has the guy been? But he's been their star running back. Yeah. They haven't stepped up there. Marvin Harrison Jr. has been
all over the map.
A real slow starter. Let's be real. And who else? The tight end.
McBride. I like McBride. I like him.
Well, if your tight end's your leading receiver and your go-to guy, Coach, you're not going to score many points in this league. Really. And that's kind of where they're at. So I don't think he's had the great supporting cast that some of these other quarterbacks have.
Chiefs, Ravens, one of them is going to go 1-3. I said a lot of times, Coach, I trust my eyes. Great teams usually have a juice, like Seattle defensively. They're fast. And they're Arroyo, JSN, the receiver. Like, these guys are playmakers. You can see on the television Darnold's athletic ability. Walker, the running back from Michigan State. You watch Seattle and you're like, they got dudes in their prime. They have a lot of good young players. You watch the Eagles, their power game, or you watch Herbert. When I watch Kansas City, I don't see any juice.
No, zero juice. I agree with you. It's surprising because I said this last week. Maybe it'll happen this week. that Eagles Super Bowl, when they were behind by 10 at halftime, and Mahomes was limping, and they came out the second half, and what did they do? They ran the ball with Pacheco, remember? And that's how they won the Super Bowl. They ran the football. I thought that Andy Reid would get back to that more. You know, when you got a one receiver not in there for whatever reason, one's hurt, Kelsey's, up in age a little bit. What's the easiest thing to do to help your quarterback? Run the ball. And they just haven't really made in my mind, a big commitment to running the football. I think that may help give them a little bit of juice. I don't know, but it's they're a one-sided team right now, a lot like Baltimore. You mentioned Baltimore.
They got a great offense and no defense.
I don't know what's going on with that defense. They put up their talent and draft picks and money. I mean, these guys should be a top 10, top half in the league, minimum defense, and it's not happening. But at least their offense, they can win the ball. If you just go to the bend, I would probably go to a bend but don't break defense, because your offense is going to score points. I mean, those guys, talk about talent and playmakers. That Baltimore offense is unbelievable. It really is.
Okay, you do a ton of college football, so you're as good as anybody in this Big Ten building we're sitting in right now. So Oregon, Penn State, that's a long way to travel. When you were coaching college football and you had to go into a harsh environment, remember, in the NFL, guys are 27, 28. You got 30-year-olds. Some of these kids are 19, 20, 21. In college football, I almost always say, take the home team. If they're even, take the home team. How would you, when you went on the road in these big road environments, is there a trick to getting the best from your team?
Well, you'd like to have, leadership is going to be the key, because you can say what you want as a coach, right? And and you can show them all the movies and read all the books and all that stuff. But when they get out there and the crowd goes, you'd like to have a veteran group on offense, okay? Because the noise is going to be a factor.
Yes.
And unfortunately, Oregon's going in there. I mean, Coach, when they played Northwestern, 12 guys caught passes. 7 of them ran the ball. 2 freshmen scored touchdowns. So Dan Lenning, who does a fabulous job, you got a new starting quarterback, and you've got these young players at most of the positions, because you graduated a lot. And, I think it's going to be a difficult challenge for him, as long as Penn State doesn't give up the big play. As long as they don't give up the big. Right now, Penn State's leading the nation in sacks. I'm sorry, USC was. Penn State's right behind them, though.
Yeah.
Penn State starts 4 seniors on that defensive line. I mean, they are really good. And so they're going to put a lot of pressure physically on this Oregon offense and quarterback.
You see how the young guys respond.
Yeah, and Drew Allard, here's an interesting point to think about, because I kind of went through this a little bit at Miami with Vinny Testaverde. Okay, Drew Allard, a quarterback from Penn State, he comes back for another year. Where he would have been drafted, who knows? In fact, a lot of those players did. Singleton, Allen, the 2 running backs.
No, their backfield's great.
They got 3 offensive linemen. 2 of them are going to be top 5 picks. Okay, first, second, or third, 5 rounds. My point is, I want to see Drew Allard, their quarterback, because he comes back, and now you are expected to take us and win a Big Ten championship. We're expected to win a national championship, and he's playing to be a first-round draft pick. That's a lot on that kid's plate.
Now, to your point about Oregon, this should be noted. Oregon's road games. Dante Moore is the quarterback for Oregon. Here's the road games he's played in his college career. San Diego State, Oregon State, Stanford, Arizona, Northwestern. It's a whole different ballgame.
Whole different ball.
With the best defensive line he's ever faced.
Yes.
So it's a big ask. I want to ask you about USC. I said this earlier, everybody thinks Lincoln Riley just throws the ball. Actually, this SC team, they're a run team. You've seen them.
Coach, they're 55% run, which shocked me until I started doing my prep work. And then I think Joe Clatter, somebody made the comment, when Lincoln Riley was at Oklahoma, they were number 1 in the nation in yards per rush. So he has run the football.
Oh, he likes to run it.
A lot of it might be quarterback, which they can do enough out there at USC. But I'll tell you what, it's kind of interesting, because when I was coaching at USC, I went there, they were coming off probation. I wasn't involved in that. Okay? That's one I wasn't involved with. Okay, okay. But my point was, 2 years later, we're playing Ohio State and beat them in the Rose Bowl. You know, so this program, they've had a resurgence a lot faster. No one's talking about them.
Well,
I think
their boosters stepped up.
Oh,
like nobody's talking about them right now. But Jen Cohen, the athletic director, they built a $300 million facility. They're paying Lincoln $80 million, and their boosters came in hot. Their defensive line, they went and bought size. They're big.
They're the ones that are leading the country in sacks.
Yes.
16 sacks. And their offensive line are being talked about for the Joe Moore Award, which is, the best offensive line, because they got 4 of the 5 guys back. These guys have been in the program. I mean, they've got them at all levels. They really do got a nice football team.
So I said this earlier. I always thought the Big Ten was a little top-heavy, and I always thought the Pac-12 had better quarterbacks, more creative coaching, a little more speed. I think the Pac-12 is exactly what the Big Ten needed. I also think the Big Ten weather and style forced USC and Oregon to go buy bigger players with the NIL.
Yeah, I
think the meshing has been perfect.
Yeah, it has. Think about last year. Who was the Big Ten champ? Oregon.
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 The speed team.
They come in with the speed and they win the Big Ten. There has been a little bit of transition, I think, with both teams. The style play a little bit. You look at the quarterbacks. I mean, the Big Ten's got some great young, new quarterbacks coming up. It has meshed well. But I think, these fancy uniforms, Penn State's guys are wearing the black shoes.
Big Ten's got better tradition. But
they don't look as fast. Penn State right now, their guys, take them out there and put them on a track. They'll run foot for foot with Oregon. You don't think so. You're a West Coast guy, but I'm telling you, you don't think they do because they got the fancy uniforms and Penn State's got black socks on and their shoes, and they
James Franklin can recruit.
They can recruit. They got players that can run.
The best backfield in the country is Penn State. Can Washington at Husky Stadium, you've coached there, can they beat Ohio State? Their quarterback, I have had 2 people, a former NFL quarterback and a current NFL exec said Washington's quarterback will be the best quarterback in this game.
Yeah, here's the storyline for this game. Matt Patricia, the defensive coordinator at Ohio State. I would agree with you. Washington is running for 250. They're throwing for 250 a game, scoring 55 points a game. They are getting it. And their quarterback, everybody says, oh, he's a dual threat. Well, dual threat for run for 5 yards or dual threat to go 90. He can go 90 yards,
yes.
Okay, if you don't get him on the ground. I want to watch is how's Matt Patricia going to handle it? Is he going to put Caleb Downs on him? You got to have somebody else watching this guy.
You have to have a spy on the Huskies quarterback.
Absolutely. Or is he going to use one of the linebackers or drop a lineman? What's he going to do? But they're going to have to come up with a different scheme to deal with the quarterback, or he can beat you himself.
Yeah. But we got great college football weekend.
Oh, absolutely.
One of the best Saturdays in a long time.